You know, Virtuosa came out, and I think she's pretty good. Her animations are a lot better than some recent heroes like Katun or Sohei. She's also very unique, her personality is very filled with life. She feels like a living and breathing person, and I think she's almost perfect. Almost. One thing I don't like, and this is something that Swanderers also pointed out, and is that she has hyper armor and she can spam it on her right stance, which, by his words, it doesn't fit a character like this. And this is something which I agree with wholeheartedly. Why is she having hyper armor? Characters having properties which don't fit them is very common. For example, how is a shaman with her small ass hatchet is gonna break through Blackfire's shield? How is Naked Raider would use hyper armor when they're not armored? Why a Pharah or Shinobi have jumping top heavies and they're undodgeable, but they literally jump in their animation and somehow they can track you, which is really weird. And I don't ask for realism, because if For Honor was realistic, Warbringer would be absolute menace. Nobody would be able to beat Warbringer. Although I can excuse it on most characters, on Virtuosa I just cannot. I see problems in her unblockables too, but like this is something different. I have bigger problem with the hyper armor. For one thing, she's not very armored. She's not using momentum, she's not using force, she's not strong herself. And for a character to have hyper armor and it to make sense, and I'm ignoring game balancing, it's just animations. It's just how the animation and the property match together. These four criteria are momentum, force, armor, and effort. I can excuse Raider, Osewodo, Hitukiri having hyper armor because they're using the momentum of their weapon. You can see Raider, every single attack he's winding up the next. He's using his speed, you know? I can excuse someone like Lowbringer having a single hyper armor attack, which is too little for him. I think he should have more. But he's fully armored. It makes complete sense why Lowbringer would be throwing a hyper armored heavy. Or I can excuse Sohei or Shugoki having hyper armor because they're big and strong individuals, and it makes complete sense why characters like this would have hyper armor. And for last, I can excuse Katun and Warmonger having hyper armor because you can see they're putting their all into these attacks, especially Katun. If you do her pinning heavy and then you do the zone input, you get hyper armor, and you can see from the animation she's putting all her power into it. And then you look at the heavies of Virtuosa and she feels none of these criteria. She's not strong, she's not putting effort into it, she's not armored, she's not strong, she's not using the momentum of her weapon. She just does it so effortlessly and easy. She looks like she's not putting any effort into it. She just swinging and somehow she has hyper armor. And I can understand it from a game perspective, since in her stance she cannot dodge really, she cannot parry, I think she can crushing counter from this stance, but like that's all. And like if she's up against Zanhu or Warlord who can access undodgeable zones, she's pretty much fucked. So this hyper armor is good for like a single trade. You can just predict the Zanhu is gonna throw a zone and you can catch him like, hey, I have a heavy, and bam, you win the trade. One compromise I can make is like, if only the opening heavy is a hyper armor because you can trade with it, but you cannot spam it. Like every single heavy after the first one is just normal heavy. No properties, no anything. This is the only way I can see how it would make sense, it would be balanced, and it would fit the character. Hopefully Ubisoft takes another look at her and eventually changes these things, because if not for realism or aesthetics, it's annoying and it's hard to deal with. I even dare to say that it's overpowered. So that was my yapping session, hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.